A 60-year-old man is found dead at the bottom of a mountain. After examining the body and investigating both the mountain and the victim's personal belongings, they identify him as Old Park, who died at 10 o'clock Monday morning. It appears he fell while climbing, ruling it as an accident. Detective H.A.E. Jun uses the victim's ID to contact and summon his wife. Her name is Seo Ray, a beautiful woman from China. H.A.E. Jun notices she doesn't seem the least bit upset about her husband's death, which makes him suspicious of her. Through his investigation, he discovers Seo Ray was frequently abused by her husband, giving her a clear motive for murder. But as he digs deeper, on Monday, she was taking care of an elderly woman. First of all, the old woman can vouch for her, and secondly, the home care agency can confirm it too, which means she couldn't possibly have had time to commit the murder. Just as H.A.E. Jun is about to drop the case, the autopsy report comes in, revealing Seo Ray's DNA under the victim's fingernails. So H.A.E. Jun tracks her down again to question her. Seo Ray explains she never liked Old Park going mountain climbing, since he was over 60 and she worried it was dangerous. On the morning of the incident, she tried to stop him, but he refused to listen and scratched her in the process. She then shows the wound as proof. As for the abuse, Seo Ray lifts her skirt to reveal other scars. But H.A.E. Jun still has his doubts about her, so over the following days, he starts watching her around the clock and discovers that aside from work and daily routines, she just stays home all day. The more he watches her, the more he finds himself falling for her, often fantasizing about being right there beside her. One day, H.A.E. Jun receives a report about Seo Ray from his superiors, stating she was a murder suspect back in China. Wanting to find out what this was about, he sends the report to Seo Ray to see how she would react. To his surprise, she responds with an unexpected message, asking him to come to her place. He immediately puts on a suit, shaves his beard, and drives over. When they meet, Seo Ray begins to explain. The so-called murder suspicion went like this. Her mother was seriously ill, suffering unbearable pain every single day. At her mother's desperate request, she had no choice but to add something to her medication to end her suffering. H.A.E. Jun is deeply moved by her story. Then she pulls out a document, claiming it is Old Park's suicide note, explaining that he always had suicidal thoughts and that she had long expected his death. After verification, the suicide note is confirmed to be in Old Park's handwriting, with no other evidence found. H.A.E. Jun closes the case, ruling it as suicide. After that, H.A.E. Jun and Seo Ray start seeing each other, spending nearly every moment together outside of work. One day, while helping Seo Ray care for the elderly woman, she asks him to play a song on her phone. He notices the old woman's phone is the same model as Seo Ray's. On the day Old Park died, the step counter app on the old woman's phone shows she climbed up to the equivalent of 138 floors. H.A.E. Jun asks her where she went, but the old woman says she didn't go anywhere. Stunned by this, he asks if Seo Ray really came by that Monday, but the old woman replies that she doesn't know what day of the week it is. Whenever Seo Ray comes, she just calls it Monday. Suddenly everything clicks for H.A.E. Jun. The truth must have gone like this.